Hey guys, today I'm gonna take you guys along with me. I'm gonna try to clean up around the firewood processor. I'm gonna take you guys out there. We'll ride out there in the Polaris here and get out there here in just a minute, and I'm gonna show you guys kind of what it looks like after we've run. I mean, I don't know exactly, but maybe a few hundred cords of wood without moving the processor. I've been mentioning that I need to move it to do a little bit of maintenance work and some repair work as well. So I'm gonna get out there and we'll show you what we got to do to get this thing moved, and we'll get it over here in the shop. I'm not sure if I'll get it in the shop today, probably not, but it's looking like it may rain here in just a minute. I got a little pop-up thunderstorm. That's these summer thunderstorms, afternoon showers. You just never know when they're gonna come. It was sunny about 2 minutes ago, and now it's looking a little bit rough. So. But here's an area that I do clean out regularly. I rake this over into this area and kind of just pile it right here, and so this area, you know, stays fairly clean. And same with directly underneath here. I rake this out. You know, every live deck I'll get in there and just rake that out. But I'll show you kind of how things build up, and these are a few of the repairs that I got to do. This right here has been broken for a while. I kind of band-aided it together for a little bit, but what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to cut this off right here. That's a welded on, basically it's just a rod that comes out that is tapped for a bolt to hold this in, and then it's greasable. So I'm going to just cut this off and get a bolt that's the same diameter as that, that's long enough to where I just have a smooth bolt inside there. Cut it off. I might just throw a nut on it or a pin through it, drill a hole and put a pin through it or something. We'll figure it out once we get it in the shop. So that's one of the little repairs that I've got to do. And I mean, things like this just happen, you know. This thing's, you know, been used, so we just gotta take it in the shop and do a few repairs. Another thing is the cylinder, front of the cylinder is kind of backed off on me a little bit, and it started leaking some fluid, and I'm gonna try to get that tightened back up. I ended up getting a big pipe wrench, just ordered one on Amazon, and I'm gonna get that taken care of as well. And then I've got one of these paddles came off the other day when I was processing. I've got it. We've had some issues with these, you know, over time, especially with the wood that's just fallen. You know, it falls from a pretty good little distance right there, and as you can imagine, it takes a beating on these welds right here. And I've had to reinforce all of them, and this one, it actually just kind of busted the link a little bit. So I'm hoping I can get that back on without interfering with the chain functioning. You know, as long as I have enough link left to weld to without it getting into the pivot point between the links, basically. So we'll see how that looks once we pull it in the shop, and it's got to be rotated around right now. So whenever I do have this in the shop, and weld on it, I always disconnect the battery and just hook this to a power pack to be able to run the conveyor. But first step in getting this thing moved, I've got to lift this up with a skid steer, and then I chain it up to the top of that wedge, so that it just holds that up. I pull my legs out. This is all just something we fabbed together. I mean, we fabbed this to the processor as well, the connection point over there. You know, they don't come with these little attached conveyors like this. This is actually the conveyor that came on our disc cleaner. We had the attached conveyor on the disc cleaner, and we pulled it off there. But you can also see this got bent. I didn't realize that, but I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna reinforce that, put some gussets on it to get this back square, and we'll get that all fixed up. And I'm gonna actually lengthen the legs so I don't have to put a block of wood under it like I have here. So just a few little things to get this thing, you know, a little bit more efficient, a little bit better. And you know, I've got to make a few repairs. Like this right here has to be repaired because it just keeps, you know, working its way off there. So I had it, you know, I know it doesn't look good, but I had that little strap around it for the longest time, and it held it in. And I think it's just got enough play in there now where it's just it's not holding in for very long at all, so it's got to be dealt with. But and I'll probably, once we get this thing in the shop, I'll kind of go over some more how we mounted that conveyor, and you know, different modifications we've made on the front end over there to help that conveyor and help free things up around the splitter and all that kind of stuff. A lot of stuff that they have done, you know, on the newer machines already. But you can see this area right here. I mean, this is bad. You know, you can get in here and kind of clean this out, but you can see right here what I'm working with. You know, and I do occasionally get up in there and pull some stuff out, but when I know that I only have a little bit more left until I'm going to be moving, a lot of times I'll just kind of neglect it for a little bit and go, well, we're going to go ahead and move this thing in the next couple days anyways. What's the point? You know, let's just kind of leave it, and when we move it, it'll all take care of itself. So, but yeah, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna get you guys set up so y'all can kind of watch the process here a little bit, and see if we can get this thing pulled out of here, and I'll show you what to do, you know, show you all the debris that's left under it. I'll kind of take you right here. You know, you can see up under there how much stuff just builds up, but again, this is partly from just neglect for a little bit of time. It doesn't take long. I don't know if you guys heard that thunder, but it's coming. So, but yeah, we'll get set up and we'll get some of this done, at least hopefully before this rain comes. I'll move this power pack out of the way, and then I'm going to take that valve right there is for this power pack, and it controls the disc cleaner. We used to have a good bit of problems with the disc cleaner jamming on us a lot, and that was accessible right outside that back window there for us. But since we then we contacted Eastonmade about it, and we got a different motor for the disc cleaner. It has a little less torque. I think it's a 200 size. It had a 400 size hydraulic motor on there, and the 400's got a lot of torque, but it just doesn't have the speed in it. And you'd be surprised. I mean, even though it's got that torque, it doesn't have enough torque to just you know, unjam itself. I mean, you've always got to reverse it real quick and then go back forward, and that's why you clear the jam. But that 200, something about just speeding the discs up. I think we also had a little bit of an issue with the flow control. So it was kind of a combination between having that 400 on there and the flow control. That was our flow control. You could go, it's got a range from 1 to 10, and you could go from 1 to 3, and it would actually change the speed. And that's what it's doing. It's increasing the flow of hydraulic fluid is what it's intended to do. You could go, but then you go from 3 to 10, and it wouldn't change. So you know, it could have been a little combination, or it could have just been the flow control. But we eliminated the flow control, got that 200 motor on there, and now the thing, I mean, it almost never jams. So having that valve, you know, those lines extended and putting that valve there is kind of pointless. But it's, at the same time, it happens occasionally, and it keeps you from having to get out of the cab. So that's nice. And the tumbler almost never jams, and these outfeed conveyors, you know, this one's controlled. The Blockbuster is controlled from inside the cab, along with the attached conveyor there, the short attached conveyor that's feeding the Blockbuster. So those are both inside the cab controls. You know, obviously our main outfeed that takes the finished wood up is, you know, controlled from there, and then the tumbler is controlled on that power pack. But those like never jam, so, or very rarely. So I mean, the whole thought was try to keep ourselves in that cab as much as we can, and we've got it kind of dialed in now. It took us a long time to get to this point. Man, last summer I know we were fighting that thing so much, and it was no fun, you know, especially when it's hot outside, and we didn't have the shelter above us either. And I know we'd be jumping in and out of that cab so often, but not anymore. We've got it pretty well dialed in, so that's been nice. But I'll get going, get some things moved around. So it's pretty nice. We made the valve where it is just removable. It's just got a pin in it. Just pull it loose and just take it off the machine. So whenever we pull the machine off, it's really easy. So. step is just going to be to fold up this live deck, and that's an easy thing to do. I mean, I just went ahead and lifted it off the ground a little bit. Now I'll just go ahead and get these legs folded up. So that's all there is to that. That's pretty easy. Now I'll just go ahead and fold this up. If this debris here builds up a good bit, depending on the logs you're working with, you know, if they've been sitting a long time, a lot of bark will fall off them. If they're pretty green, you don't get a whole lot right there. But I've worked with a little bit that's, you know, been some drier logs that lose a lot of bark. So when I have cleaned that out, that, you know, since this machine was here, it hasn't been here the whole time, just, you know, without cleaning that out. So I do just lift the deck up and clean that out every now and then. But I'll show you all the deck lifted up, and then we'll get working on something else. All right, so that's got that taken care of. Now I'm gonna go get my skid steer, and we'll get this thing chained up and ready for transport. So. Weather's getting crazy. I think I'm going to continue this once this quits. Yeah, this is crazy. I was trying to get that processor all ready to move, but it is pouring and lightning and getting a little bit scary and dangerous, so I don't think I'm going to continue right now. Go ahead and just shut the processor off. Not that I need it running anyways. I needed it running just for the live deck, but I'll go ahead and get her shut off. But yeah, we'll continue this video. Might be another day, depending on how long this storm lasts. So, all right, so the rain's letting up a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue and try to get a little bit more done. It did kind of cool it off a little bit, and it's overcast now, so that's kind of nice. So I might as well take advantage of it and get a little bit more done this afternoon before I have to leave. Right now it's about 4:30, so 4:30 on a Friday before the 4th of July, so I'm not going to be here too late. Probably not going to get too far along, but I just want to show you the next steps. I'm going to just go ahead and pull these legs off right here. These just pin on, throw those up on the conveyor, you know, both legs, and then I got to disconnect the hydraulic lines for these conveyors just from the machine there, so then I can pull it away. And then one of the biggest pains that I've got to take care of is getting this jack free so that I can pop the jack up, because this jack does have pressure down on it right now, and of course I've got a ton of debris around the base of it. So I'll be getting that out of there with a pitchfork. Probably scrape this out of the way with a skid steer so that I'm not fighting all this sawdust that's out here as well. But I'm gonna get going on that, set you guys up where you can see the majority of it, and we'll get a little bit more done this afternoon anyway. So, and then of course, once the processor's moved out of the way, I'll you know, continue and just scrape all this stuff clean and have a clean slate for when we set it all back up. So that's where you really get to see a little bit of progress made, and the whole place kind of gets cleaned up, and then when you put it back out here, it's nice and neat and ready to process a bunch more wood. So. Well guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. I'm gonna continue this after the weekend. We'll be back here Monday. Gonna take off the 4th and 5th, of course. And I gotta take my daughter, I forgot, she's got sports practice this afternoon. She plays golf, so I gotta get her over there to the golf course at 5:30. So I'm gonna head out for the evening, and we'll continue this next week.